Good morning, Bears. It's a Thursday, Friday epic. We're going to wrap up our slideshows today so that tomorrow we can just have fun. Maybe look at a few slideshows tomorrow, but also show and tell, show your pets, wear funky clothes, talk about what you do for your holiday festivals. Not everybody celebrates Christmas. We're studying it in history this week because it's an ancient religion that has origins, and we study all the ancient religions that have origins. In this case, coming from Judaism in the region of Israel, and we've been diving into the beginning life of Jesus and his teachings and the origins of Christianity. So I'm going to make this video quick. We're going to focus on the Christmas star today. And I want you guys to have time the rest of today's class to get this slideshow done and submit it. Let's submit it today so that tomorrow I can look at them, I can grade them, I can transfer them to next semester. All of this information is in groups. But in case you missed the last Zoom, our Thursday Zoom, here's our goodbye video for you. We are going to be off school for 3 weeks. So tomorrow we'll have a Zoom Christmas party, and then you're off school for 3 weeks. January 11th is a Monday. Not sure there's classes that day, but that's the day I want you to come on and look at the lbms.com website. Come to our groups and check it. I will have information, any special schedules, where you need to go, different advisories. Pretty sure that first week will be just a get back acquainted with schooling week. And so you won't have that much work to do. We won't have our projects. So it'll be a special schedule. First place to do is come back to these groups. So just a reminder, 3 weeks, no school, come back to groups. If you want to do your own creative slideshows, write about adventures you do, that would be great. We can share those in class when we come back from break. All right, so today, Christmas slide. Let's go ahead and look at somebody's slideshow, and I'm going to, like I said, we're going to make this quick. This is the way you should do any concept. And we already have our concept. We're in history. Let's go down. Let's go to Christmas week origins. Everybody should know how to do that. And I come in here, and let's go to period 7. I don't think we've done them this week. Notice, if you have not opened yours, like Jordan, that means you're behind. So Jordan A, go open your slideshow. If you've submitted it, you shouldn't have submitted it yet. Later today, I want to see this filled up. Let's go back to in progress. Priscilla, we looked at hers yesterday. Let's scroll down. There's different. Oh, look at Priscilla's is great. We saw hers already. Looks like Samantha, you did open it. You need to get some work done. Hello, Samantha, come on. This is the first grade of next semester. Ooh, this looks like a good one. Let's take a look at stars. So Star says, welcome fellow people to my slideshow. That's nice. That's an introduction. Remember, let's move these down. You click one, you hold shift, you click all three. Why? Because then it looks more like a slideshow instead of an assignment. Remember, our whole goal is to create things you can share with other people. Now, Christianity, we've monotheistic, belief in one God. There's debate on if they early ancient times believed in many, but I've done some pretty good research that they pretty much believed in one God, most of them. There's always different views. And we have the cross. Here we have parables. Looks like Star needs to work on that. That's why I'm going to give you most of class today to get that done. Remember, a parable is you can go click the links in groups or search up your own, watch the parable. Most of them are 2 minutes or less, and then say the parable you watched and say what you think it means. Now, we've gone through the slides. Israel, this is our wrap up. Jerusalem, Bethlehem, where Jesus was from or born, Canaan, the land, Isaiah 7:14, Old Testament or Torah passages that Christians believe prophesied the Messiah. We have Luke, the book that we are studying, a primary source written somewhere in the mid to late first century of AD, so say 70, 60, some people say later, but based on stories that are coming from Jesus' time, which is AD 30 to 33. Remember, everything written about Jesus is when he was doing his ministry. Most things, there's a few things about his childhood, but most things about when he was older, doing his teaching and miracles. Map of Christianity. Oh, I like that. That's a fun little graph there. And then we have Jesus Christ, the person that we were talking about. Remember, Christ is a title. That's not a name. His name was Jesus of Nazareth. and he was the son of Joseph, so Jesus, son of Joseph. When he became, or when people realized he was the Christ, then we now call him Jesus Christ. But there are other people in history that some people thought were the Christ. So it's like a title. Christmas star. Oh, this is the one we're looking for. So let's move the Christmas star to the top. Everybody go ahead and do that right now if you can while we're going. And then I want you to make, if yours looks something like hers, you can make a new slide if you want, but hypothetically, if you had room like this, let's read about what she has found. Explanation 5. The Christmas star was a conjunction of Jupiter, Regulus, and Venus. One other possibility includes a set of conjunctions. Conjunctions means things coming together, of planets Jupiter and Venus, and the bright star Regulus. In this case, the mythologies associated with the objects become important. Throughout the first half of December 2020, you will be able to see these two planets appearing to draw closer together each night. Interesting. The planetarian's website reads the best time to see them is about an hour after your local sunset time. Now, last night I went up into the mountains to see them. I went up there at 6:15, and they had already, I rode at 6:15. I didn't get to the top till 7. They had already set. I'm going to go up again on Monday and maybe on Wednesday next week, and I'm going to leave earlier. I'm going to leave before the sun sets. I'm going to watch the sunset, and in the same area, remember when you watch the sunset, don't look straight at the sun, but, in general, be up there for the sunset. And then as the sun sets and it gets dark, look in that same general area that the sun set, and that's where you can see these stars lining up. Now, Star is way ahead of the game right now, because all she has to do is say, my claim. So all I want you to do today, you can do it in 1, 2, 3 sentences. You can do it as a full CER and a slide if you want. After researching the Christmas star, which we'll do a little bit right now, what do you think is the claim is? Because remember, a supernatural star could have been a supernatural star. God put a star up there, or put some bright light. Maybe it wasn't even a star. Maybe it was like an angel or some bright supernatural thing that was happening. And we're going to see why we even believe in the Christmas star. Or it could be this planetary alignment. It could have been a supernova. So look at this, explanation 5. That means there's probably some other explanations. Let's go take a look, and then I'll let you do your slide. Any research, you want to go into your Google, and you want to just type in what you're looking for. What is the Star of Bethlehem? What is the Christmas star? And if we come over here, Wikipedia, you can't trust anything on any site. So it's not that Wikipedia you can't trust because they're bad. It's just that we always want to check multiple sources. But sometimes it's a good way to get an overview. So let's take a look. The Star of Bethlehem, or Christmas star, appears in the Nativity story of the Gospel of Matthew, where wise men from the east are inspired by the star to travel to Jerusalem. There they meet King Herod of Judea. Notice politics, they had kings. And they ask him, where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him. Now remember, we've been studying the Gospel of Luke. There's a whole other story of Jesus called the Gospel of Matthew. And if you look at the Gospel of Matthew, you can get some history and his perspective on writing the story of Jesus. And if you look over here, remember we've talked about ancient manuscripts. So Papyrus 46, one of the oldest New Testament papyri, showing 2 Corinthians 11:33 through 12:9. We're going to dive a little bit more into 2 Corinthians and those letters when we talk about Easter and when we do part 2 of Christianity, because that's the spread of Christianity that goes into the world where the Greeks were in Greece. It also is, we start diving into the Roman Empire. So right now, let's stick to this passage about Jesus's birth. And so in the New Testament, we read that in Matthew. So the star is there. Look at this, another papyrus fragment. So they have these ancient texts. So this one's dated to 2nd or early 3rd. That means 200 AD. And so there is older manuscripts than that, but not that many. You can imagine this does not last that long. But look at this, Papyrus 37, a 3rd century papyrus of Matthew. So you can read about the setting, and this would give us the Gospel of Matthew is a work of the 2nd generation of Christians for whom the defining events was the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple by the Romans in AD 70. We are going to dive into some of this. But this is fun, great setting, content, history, all the different things we love to dive into with history. So here's the nativity scene. Let's take a look at that. And so here's the nativity of Jesus. And once again, here's pictures. That's a photograph. Here's an ancient painting. We can see, did they put him in a stone manger or a wood manger? And you can get a history here. So notice I'm clicking around doing my research. Well, let's see if we can find a video that kind of covers it all. What I like to do is now I do Star of Bethlehem in a general search, and look at this, top stories. What are all these top stories? Where they're showing us that on Monday this event is going to happen. But guess what? That event is awesome, but we do not know 100% that this is the event that was the star. So we want to research that a little bit and make our own claim. So let's see if we can find something to talk about the different claims. So here we are. We, sure enough, are at space.com. You can research this yourself. Just type it in. I will provide this link in groups. Let me do that now before I forget. It says, was the Star of Bethlehem a star, comet, or miracle? So isn't this interesting? December 23rd, 2011. Not even a mention of the planet option. So we know about the planet option because that's all over the news right now. We watched a video on it on Monday. So you can research the planet option. But so now we know, was the Star of Bethlehem a star, comet, or miracle, or the lining of the planets that is happening right now? All you need to do on today's assignment is make that claim. Just, is it a star? Is it a comet? Is it a miracle? You can read this article, browse it. It's a little bit long here, but we can see what this guy says. The Bible says nothing about a calendar date of the Nativity, but does refer to historical personages and events, such as the reign of King Herod. Modern historical research suggests that Herod may have died sometime between 4 BC and 1 BC by our present calendar. The Magi are said to have visited Herod just before he died, and presumably the birth of Christ and the first appearance of the fabled star came sometime before that. So then you can go in here and they study the different things. But let's see what might the star have been. At least 4 theories have been advanced to explain the Star of Bethlehem. So let's click that article. And we can see here that there's different views. It could have been a comet. Perhaps the simplest answer that can be offered is that the star might have been a nova, a new star, suddenly blazing forth where no star had previously been. Interesting. Come down here. What else do they say here? Who knows? Join our space. So that goes the star theory. That's called the star theory, so you can check that. Okay, so now let's take a look at another theory. Notice this is 2011. I don't know if you can see it, but I just researched. This was put out 2011, 9 years ago, or maybe it was 2016. This is the one that's 2016. So 4 years ago. At this point, it was not all hyped up about these planets. So let's see, because right now we've seen the planet stuff. You have it. It's all over the news. All you got to click in Star of Bethlehem. Every current video will talk about this planets aligning December 21st. But was that the Christmas star? Let's see what this one says. And then I'm going to let you guys do your own research and make your own decision.
The 3 wise men who followed the Star of Bethlehem to find the baby Jesus is an enduring part of the Christmas story. And it turns out there's a historical and scientific evidence of a special star at a time and place that aligns with accounts in the Bible. As KGUN 9 on your sides, Craig Smith reports astronomers think it wasn't truly a star, but something else that would have caught the attention of the wise men of the time.
When the Bible says Jesus was born as Mary and Joseph traveled to Bethlehem to register with the Roman government, historical records independent of the Bible show that was by order of Caesar Augustus in the year 3 BC. The Magi are believed to be learned priests of an ancient Persian religion that made precise studies of the night sky. Michael McGee is the director of U of A's Flandreau Planetarium. He says many cultures that studied the skies saw something unusual about that time.
There are Chinese writings, there are Arab writings of the day that all contribute to the history of what was going on, and researchers have lots of material to look over to confirm it all.
We celebrate Christmas in the winter because the early church decided to turn a pagan winter festival into a Christian observance. Ancient records actually mention a bright star in the east in August of 3 BC. But what did they really see? Records do not describe something that looked like a comet. They also do not describe something like a supernova, an exploding star. What we know as planets, the ancients called wandering stars because they moved through the night sky.
You could say, well, there was a bright planet. Like we've seen the planet Venus both in the evening and the morning at times. It's very, very bright. That could easily have been what the bright star was. Problem is, they knew all about Venus. They knew when it came up in the morning and it came up in the evening. They knew that very well. So that wasn't anything new.
McGee says records show around the time of Caesar Augustus' order, the big bright planet Jupiter lined up 3 times with the star Regulus, which ancients called the King Star. Ancient sky watchers would see that as a message, but modern astronomers say even that was probably not what became the Star of Bethlehem.
And Venus, meantime, had circled around the sun and started coming up in the western sky. And it caught up with Jupiter, and then on roughly June 20th of that following year, I believe it was 2 BC, Venus and Jupiter came in such close conjunction that you couldn't tell that there were 2 planets there anymore.
To the ancients, 2 bright planets combined would have been a real beacon in the skies and the leading candidate for what Christmas tradition now calls the Star of Bethlehem. Craig Smith, KGUN 9.
Wow, okay, so interesting. It sounded like they were going to go with the star theory. Interesting, we're talking about stars, star, but it sounds like that is actually the planet theory. What's interesting about that is, remember, right now it's happening near Christmas, but at the time of Jesus' birth, around 2 AD, some people say 3, it would have happened in June, he said. And there is historical evidence to that the reason we celebrate Christmas in December has nothing to do with the star or ancient text. It has more to do with there was already a celebration going on in different religions in Christmas time. And so the church decided, let's have Christmas instead of those pagan or non-Christian celebrations, and they made Christmas in December. So that's a little bit of a different story, but it just shows, like I say, always do your research. So that video seems to support our claim of the 2 planets. All right, make your claim. It can be 1 sentence if you want, because we're at Christmas time. But if you want to be advanced, write a 5-sentence CER. Remember, this is the first grade for next semester. I want you to spend the rest of today, Thursday, get these done, submit them today, Friday, Christmas party. We will see you in 3.5, and if you're in groups, we'll see you in 3.3-day weeks. I will post everything you need to know right here in groups to get your second semester started off right. How do you get your second semester started off right in history? Turn this in later today. Do some work. Great slideshow star. Have a great holiday.